green bottle blue tarantulas just laying an egg sac. I put the male in with her. He seemed terrified of her. She didn't seem interested. I left them together overnight in a large enclosure so he could get right away if he needed to. And I thought, nah, she's definitely in pre-molt. She needs to shed her skin. Maybe that's why, you know, maybe misjudged everything. And she's been really digging around the last few days. And I honestly thought she was just getting ready to actually shed her skin. And I thought that male's going to die of old age before she's ready to mate. But it turns out he did have his wicked way with her. Fingers crossed for these guys. That'd be great. It will be my first ever tarantula breeding. Welcome to the vlog. It's September. It's 3 degrees overnight and this morning. I don't think we had hardly any temperatures like that the whole of last winter. How ridiculous. A sudden drop, but warming again next week. I'm deeply involved now in really trying to finalise the falconers gathering. Make sure you're there if you have any interest in falconry whatsoever, even a passing interest. And I'm also busy manning and training a young Siberian goshawk here. So it's really, really busy. To be honest, as well as everything life's thrown at us in the last couple of weeks, which has been an absolute drain on the system. All started with our 15-year-old Bedlington Fen popping his clogs, 15 years old, well over 100 in human years. The dog of a lifetime. We all have one dog of a lifetime if we keep dogs all our lives. He was our dog of a lifetime. Very, very sad. A few days ago now, had so much other stuff to deal with this week that it's actually kind of the grieving process has had to be just shut off. But he's currently a tub of ashes, and soon he'll be somewhere down here helping the ground grow and going back to nature, so we can enjoy our memories of him while we're enjoying a walk. Certainly, Jackie didn't want him in the lawn in case we ever moved, rather come somewhere along the river where hopefully it will never be built on, not in our lifetime, and we can enjoy him. Anyway, it's not all doom and gloom. Working with something special like a Siberian goshawk, just 12 weeks old, of course, raises one's mental health to a higher level, thank goodness, as does being out in this. Look at it. After a freezing cold night, we're going to explore some more. I'll catch up with you later in the vlog. Changing the weather. Snakes out warm and humid, but they're out trying to get some UV. Well, they're not, are they? They're out trying to get some warmer sunshine, I guess. Blue beauty there. People been here all day, but there's still snakes out on display. Russian rat snakes. So Kyle's just got Stan out for a pre-season check. He's going to have another week in a free loft just to get a little bit of weight off, a little bit more, but he's heading the right way. And then out he'll go. So at the gathering, Kyle will be there if we can squeeze him in. By popular request, he won't be talking about eagle falconry. He will be talking about lamping with hawks. A topic many people kind of dismiss. Every single one of those people I've ever spoke to have never successfully practiced lamping, often don't know even what it entails, really, not really, and they see it as a non-sporting way of taking game. Again, people that haven't tried it, it's a completely different thing.
Usually people that stand on top of a rabbit hole with a goshawk.
Well, there you go. But one thing it does give you is if you work hard and you have little time in the winter to fly every day during the week, all of a sudden you can fly your hawks every day, keeping them pretty fit and making them way better hawks when you have got time at the weekend. But for now, just getting pre-season checks done on a lovely golden eagle.
Charlie's just found this little juvenile hedgehog at work, bumbling around. Eye missing, damage to the other eye. It's trouble breathing, and what's happened is it's got damp blood around its muzzle, but it's actual, I can't lift up too much, upper jaw. The whole muzzle area has been snapped. You'd expect more damage on the outside if it was a crow, but could be where a badger's clawed at it, most probably a cat. What a shame. Got to get him to the rescue centre to clear that.
Something we do at the Falconry Centre is we run bird adoptions where people can have an info sheet and some other stuff for adopting one of our birds and just being sort of supporters of the Falconry Centre. That money really helps renovate things for sure. And once a year we run an adopters evening where those adopters are invited along for the evening for some nibbles and drinks, a catch-up of what's been going on over the year at the Falconry Centre, good and bad news and everything in between, and they get to go out with Emily and Ursula and fly a couple of birds at the centre. Just a lovely evening, and it was a lovely evening. So if you're watching this, you guys, thanks so much for your support. It makes a huge difference to how the Falconry Centre operates, and really it makes a difference to how damn good the Falconry Centre looks, because whilst everyone's hands-on maintaining and painting and repairing for nothing, we need materials, we need paint, and the support really helps keep those birds enclosures looking, I think, the best in the country, always as immaculate as they could possibly be. So that's been really lovely at the Falconry Centre. We are winding up now, winding up for a close. So for goodness sakes, our last weekend openings is the last weekend of September, and we are running a falconers gathering open to everyone. So check out that Facebook page, come along. It's not very expensive. Click on the featured button at the top of the page, click on the FAQs post, find out all about it. It should be a thoroughly good weekend indeed. Meanwhile, of course, September, the schools have kicked in. I've been back to school, and this girl's been to some school visits, and also a talk about falconry and birds of prey to a local group in a local village hall. So she's already working, but not working as she's intended, because this is my personal falconry bird for this season. Her job is to fly like only a goshawk can, thrillingly exciting, and really start to fill the freezer to help feed all the other birds for the rest of the year. So whilst I get to work with birds of prey on a daily basis, and have done now for a very long time, it's the actual falconry birds, the true falconry birds, that are far more immersive and take up far more time than the display birds ever do. And the falconry season's a winter pastime. It's been a long few months since I've remembered just how good for my soul the solitude of the countryside, a hawk and a dog, and often a ferret as company, how good it is for you. And what a glorious day. Just look at it. It's actually hot. I'm well overdressed now due to the cold start. And this young hawk, her name's Birdie, yes it is, really getting things together today after being a little bit scatty. Remember, she's only 12 weeks old, and she's only been entered the whole regime of training and handling just 2 weeks ago. Yeah, another great day to be alive.
Okay. Grandma. Wait a minute. And Lily? You bomb. Come on.
Thanks for that, Lily.
Hello.
He pecked you. Lily. Start getting puffy. Oh, he fell off. Hey, look at him go. Look at him go. Hey, look at him go. There he goes.
She was quick to move her hand up.
So the butterfly and the insect borders, they're looking scraggly, overgrown, a lack of colour. But they're still doing an important job. And for sure, on your butterfly and insect borders, oh, let's move away from that noisy peregrine. It's important not to just be a tidy gardener and tidy them all away at this time of year because the colour's gone and you think they look scruffy. This is probably doing as much for invertebrate life now as it was when all these plants were flowering. Loads of stuff is going to be under here. Certainly the soft body stuff, the millipedes, the centipedes, slugs and snails. I know they're not all good for the garden in your idea, but they're great for toads, frogs. They're great for newts, and they're great for hedgehogs, as well as small birds like wrens will be rooted in under here. So for sure, don't be an ultra tidy gardener. Leave a lot of this stuff as much as you can. Seed heads like these teasels, the seeds will feed goldfinches right into autumn. There'll also be tiny spiders and baby invertebrates living in these places, escaping the frost. Really important to leave these places as long as you can. And then tidy up in the spring when the frosts have pretty much gone and the new growth is coming through. You'll really help boost invertebrates if you give them somewhere to spend the winter, to hibernate if you will. We get lots of shrews, lots of voles, field mice as well. This is just habitat for a whole, literally a whole ecosystem. Anyway, that water's running away. I better get on, do some work and feed that noisy thing. Having said all of that, it's not over yet. Some of these flowers are going to provide nectar until the frosts arrive. 2 nights ago, 3 degrees, that's a ground frost by far. And it felt like winter was upon us and that was it. Now the forecast is mostly towards double figures at night and warming up. Look at these lovely large white butterflies. So these have, their parents of these have come over from the continent. They've laid eggs on your cabbages. And these are the most likely the second generation or the next generation as caterpillars, chrysalids and adults here. Look at them. So super common when I was a kid, when people still post-war had lots of vegetable patches in their big gardens. These things would devastate those cabbages and so on. But of course, people don't do that anymore. Less food for them. And of course, pesticides, insecticides, we spray them around willy-nilly. So like nearly half of our insects, butterflies, have really diminished in our gardens and countryside. Both by species, I guess, but really in volume. When we say we've lost 45% of our insect life in my lifetime, we don't mean 45 species, although species have gone, just volume. Farming practices always get a lot of the blame, and rightly so, unfortunately, and it is that spraying of insecticides, which most of us are guilty of. If you had a wasp nest in your porch, you'd probably pay someone to come and spray it and kill it, because they irritate you, just like farmers are irritated by things eating their crops. If your child had head lice, you would probably wash their hair with some shampoo to kill off those head lice. And here's another dilemma. We keep some bees here now, as you know, and beekeepers hate wasps just as much as most people hate wasps, and they kill them off. I love wasps. They're incredibly good pollinators, and wasps as a whole group of animals actually keep the world in check, get rid of a lot of pests, such as those cabbage white or those large white caterpillars. Some wasps parasitise them, big wasps eat them and feed them to their children rather. But if you're a beekeeper, right now, having a wasp nest 10 metres from your beehive means the bees struggle to keep those wasps at bay. This time of year they want your sweet stuff and they want my bees' sweet stuff. They want to raid the nest to get honey for themselves, not for their children. So the problem is the bees fight them off. 4 or 5 bees really to take on a wasp, and a large number of wasps, they'll kill that hive, or they'll certainly massively kill off the bees and raid the honey. So what do? Ironically, these wasps are more important to the environment than farmed honeybees. That's a fact. Why do we need honeybees? Because we're killing off so much of our insect population. There's not enough wild, natural pollinators. And really, in some parts of the world, farmers now rely on solely farmed honeybees. We're a fickle thing as humans in what we like and what we don't like. Wasps are superb, and yet because they sting us, we find them unpredictable. We tend to dislike them, but we'll love the lovely bee. Here's a funny species. This is Rambo. If I can get through the mesh. This is Rambo. Damn that mesh. He's a little owl. Look at him. Little owls, when they've got an appetite, they're on flying away. This guy's a star. He flies to all our guests and they love him because he's such a diminutive little tiny owl. It doesn't get much cuter than that. Look how these angry eyebrows though. And yet now he's molting, he's fattened up, so he's got loads of extra calories to change his feathers as quick as possible, if you like, surplus energy. And little owls, like sparrowhawks, it doesn't matter if they're hand-reared and they think they're a human or they think we're the same as them. These guys go as wild as stink in their head, captive bred of course, just as wild as a wild little owl. Very strange little personalities, and very funny little personalities, because little owls really are like the Jack Russell of the owl world. Well guys, it's the time of the year when the borders and the flowers that are gradually being installed at Icarus Falconry to soften the place and make it far more natural and so much more attractive to wildlife, especially for the creepy crawlies and the butterflies that I love so much. It's dying back and it's getting browner, but I've got to tell you, Icarus Falconry has never looked so good. It just looks beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a peaceful place to be. Absolutely stunning. It really is. It's not a huge falconry centre, probably in the mid-20s when it comes to birds, sort of numbers of birds, some great species of birds. It's just such a beautiful place to be if you love being outdoors and you love birds of prey. But to be honest, there's so much more to it than that. Whether it's the menagerie with Roxy the fox, my favourites, the elvers, the eels in there, even the bees that happily stung me just a few days ago. Perhaps shorts and a t-shirt when the wasps are raiding them and they're angry isn't the best attire to be opening your beehive with. Tommy's been strimming all this back, ready for the gathering. All this space is going to be cleared. We're going to have all the marquees around here and in front of me. But guys, come and see us. Make it worthwhile. We're looking forward to it. Time's getting near for the gathering. Now, you know as well as I do, there can be only one. But if you turn up in enough numbers, let's hope that it's more than a one-off. And it's something we can do annually for the falconry community for sure. There's so many of you behind this. I'm really grateful. And I can't wait to see you all here. Hopefully, the weather holds now. not turning the place to a muddy swamp, just enjoying it and enjoying everything that's going to be put on offer from us, and of course from all of you that are coming to help and put on talks and shows and sort of entertainment, bring your trade stands and everything, really, you know, out of the goodness of your heart. So I'll see you here literally in a couple of weeks' time. Mr. and Mrs. Stiff are either about to launch a rocket, do a bit of giant crayoning, or add to the growing fence. Just between two schools in the villages of England. What a lovely sight. Look at that, Lily, look. Ratty. Look at him. There he is. Well, back home from school and lunch and a cup of tea. I've been out doing some working with the young Goshawks, getting her used to all sorts of things. Bit of training on a clearance line. It was 3 degrees just a few nights ago. It was turned to winter. Now it's beautiful like summer. We've just watched a kingfisher whiz up the river. The crystal clear water full of young fish. Look at that. Absolutely glorious. Thanks for watching. Catch up with you soon.